All right, welcome everyone back into the TD SportsPress podcast. We are here on a Tuesday, October 24th, October 21st, 2025. Holy smokes, we're almost to November. There's a lot of college football that's been going on here. Conference title races are shaping up right now. There's a lot of teams that are, making their push to college football playoffs. There's been some teams that are not making the push to college football playoffs, and they're kind of done for. So we're going to be talking about all of that tonight. We're going to lead off the show with the TD poll that we do, and we will go over our top 25 for the week. After that, we'll give you guys the tweet that got me going a little bit crazy. If you guys don't follow the Twitter, go follow the X TD or at TD SportsPress or at Jordan Pushed Off, one or the other. You can check that out on X. And then after that, we'll go into our games, and we will end the show with our best bet of the week as well. So best bets of the week. We do those on Tuesday and Thursday, so stay tuned for the full show. We'll have a good live show for you. So without further ado, we got a pretty packed show, so we're going to get going here. We're going to get going with the TD poll here. Here's our TD poll, top 25 right here. We'll go starting at number 25. You guys can't see if you're on podcast mode on Spotify. Thank you for listening. If you want to check out the full graphic, we are on YouTube at TD SportsPress. We also got a new ticker right here. This is all brand new, so we're moving up in the world, as some would say. So at number 25, we got LSU. I was really close to not even putting LSU in the poll after getting beat by Vandy. They have 2 losses, and there just seems like a lot of things that LSU is just not going right at the current moment. So it was very hard to put LSU there, but they are 5-2. They got everything in front of them, and they got a huge game with Texas A&M this week. So they got to keep everything in front of them. Number 24, we got Illinois. Illinois heads to Washington this week, and we'll see if they can stay up at that number 24 spot. Washington is coming off losing to Michigan, and then Illinois is going headed there. At number 23, we got Michigan. After that big win against Washington, 24-7, they're back in the poll at 23. At 22, we got Texas, and I'll be honest with you guys, ranking Texas the same. This was the hardest ranking to do as Texas. I've never been more not impressed with a win as Texas against Kentucky. I mean, Texas couldn't do anything. But anyways, at 21, we got Arizona State with their big win against Texas Tech. Understand that Texas Tech's quarterback is hurt, so it was their backup. But hey, at the end of the day, you just got to get a win, and they got to win. So shout out to them for that. At number 20, we got Cincinnati. Cincinnati at number 20. They just keep winning. You can't fault winning. As I've always said, you can't fault them. If they're going to win, then what's wrong with that? They're undefeated. They'll keep moving up. At 19, we got USF with their anticipated matchup that's not as anticipated anymore with Memphis, so super excited for that game. Number 18, we have Tennessee coming off that loss to Alabama. They moved down a couple spots. 17, we got Texas Tech with that loss to Arizona State. They moved down. Notre Dame moves up 3 spots to our number 16 spot. I think that's a good spot for Notre Dame. Number 15, we got Miami. Miami was number 1 in the TD poll last week. And after getting Louisville, they should be number 15. I don't believe in the nonsense that they should be top 10. We got them at 15. At 14, we got the team that beat Miami. We got Louisville at number 14. At 13, we got Virginia, who beat Louisville. So at 12, we got Ole Miss after their loss to Georgia. They moved down a couple spots. And at number 11, we got our highest gainer moving up 5 spots. BYU is at number 11, and they are undefeated, and they probably should be higher in my poll. I'll be the first to admit it. I don't know why I have them at 11. They probably should be a little bit higher. Number 10, we got Missouri. After that, game against Auburn, they did what they had to win. That's all that matters at the end of the day. They did what they had to win. Number 9, we got Vanderbilt. Vanderbilt and Missouri. We'll be talking about that game later in the show. Super excited about that. Who would have thought College Game Day would have been there 2 years ago? So at number 8, we got Georgia Tech. I think that's a good spot for Georgia Tech, undefeated. They play Syracuse this week. Number 7 is Oklahoma. That's a lot of people have a lot to say about that. I think that's a good spot for them. At number 6, we got Oregon. Oregon put on a show at Rutgers. They just went out and, they played with like a ball on fire. So number 5, we got Georgia with their win at Ole Miss. At number 4, we got Alabama with 3 straight ranked wins in the last 3 weeks. Good for them. Number 3, we got Texas A&M. And they're undefeated. They just keep winning. Number 2, we got Indiana. They might have a little bit of a challenge. We'll be talking about UCLA and Indiana a little bit. At number 1, we have Ohio State. So Ohio State is back at number 1, who we started at the preseason. And yeah, that is our top 25. We talk about our top 25 every single day on TikTok. So if you guys have a TikTok account, go check out TD SportsPress on TikTok. We are on there every day, post 2 videos a day right now. And the channel has been really exploding lately. So appreciate all the support. So that's our top 25. All right. We're going to get into my tweet of the week that I saw this week. So, yep, let's pull it up right here. Pull it up. There we go. Let's put it up right here. So, right here. College football right here from Todd right here. He said, college football parity is great until we get USF versus Georgia Tech in the first round and nobody watches. Tell me I'm wrong and tell me I'm an elitist, but the rankings won't lie. What a tweet from Todd. And that got me thinking. So what Todd is saying is that it's all about money. That's all that matters is ratings and money. So that brings me up this segment. Is college football is the only thing that matters at this point money? And I would say right now, the way that college football has been going, yes. I think Todd is spot on. Should it be this way? No, it should not be this way. And I can see why Todd is saying this. You look at the power conferences, look at all the movement. Look at the Big 12's the Pac-12's not even a thing anymore. You look at Washington State and Oregon State. What happened to those two programs, those two proud programs? You look at all the realignment. All it's about is TV rights and TV deals and TV money. And how much TV money are we going to get? Well, and NIL, is that, am I going to get a bag or not? That is all college football is right now. So I would say Todd is right in this case about the game of college football. All that matters right now is no one wants USF versus Georgia Tech because they care about ratings. That should not be what college football is. And we need someone on the college football commissioner or a commission, whatever it needs to be. We need to get regional conferences back. We don't need Oregon going to Rutgers every year. We don't need Oregon going to Penn State. Those are great games. We don't need those for conference games. What is the point? Right? Why is Oregon State not a conference matchup anymore? Why is Washington State not a matchup anymore? Why don't we see Arizona State versus California anymore? Yes, Todd. Todd is right about college day football right now. He is correct. But it shouldn't be this way. We should have regional conferences. We should have conferences that make sense. And we should have rivalries because that's what college football makes college football great compared to the NFL. And right now, college football is becoming the NFL, one step at a time. We need a commission or a commissioner at this point. It is sad where we are at college football. So, yeah, do I agree with Todd's, post to an extent? Yes, I agree to an extent, but it shouldn't be this way. We're going to leave it at that. So, we'll just leave it there. So that's that segment of the show. Now we're going to move on to our preview part of the show here. So let's move on here. We got our first preview is Indiana and UCLA. Indiana's a 25.5-point favorite against a UCLA team that I would like to say is just 3-0. I know they have 4 losses on their schedule, but I don't know. So we look at this game as a whole. Indiana's coming off a win against Michigan State, where they did what they had to win. UCLA last week, they played Maryland, and UCLA won this game. You look at Indiana; their quarterback's been playing good lately. This is big noon kickoff. Big noon kickoff is going to Indiana this week. So we look at this game here. This is a great game for Indiana. I think this is a spot for UCLA that they can really make noise. If UCLA's movement is real, they will make it a game or make it competitive. Like I said, the line is currently 25.5. We are looking at the model, and the model. Like I said, the model likes UCLA to cover here. I'm going to take Indiana to win the football game. I think Indiana's going to win the football game. We look at the model. You can't look too much into the model, I would say. Based off metrics, Indiana is a fun place to play college football. And, yeah, I think I'm going to roll with Indiana in this game. I think it's a great spot for Indiana to pick up a win. So, give me Indiana in this big noon kickoff in Bloomington. Moving on, we have number 8, Ole Miss versus Oklahoma. Oklahoma went on the road and beat the living daylights out of South Carolina last week. And we got Ole Miss that are kind of licking their wounds right now. So we look at this game. Oklahoma's a 4.5 point favorite. John Mateer, I wouldn't say he had his best game Saturday against South Carolina. Number 8, Ole Miss, and who's going to play quarterback this week? I think they're going to stay with the Ferris State kid transfer. I don't think Austin Simmons will be the starting quarterback this week, but we look at this game as a whole. This is there. The 4.5. We look at Ole Miss. We kind of talked about this on Sunday as well. Ole Miss really played a good game against Georgia for 3 quarters. They just didn't show up in the fourth quarter. And, that's enough to, beat you at the end of the day. You got to figure that out. There's a lot of questions at, are these teams national championship contenders? Can one of these two teams go to the SEC championship? That is a question we are going to find out in this game. So we're going to look at the model here. The model, Oklahoma at -4.5. The model likes Oklahoma to cover, and they think a prediction final score of 34-27 Oklahoma. And I'm going to side with the model. I think this is a great game for Oklahoma. I really do. I'm going to trust Oklahoma in this spot. I know Ole Miss looked really good, but I think Oklahoma's a better defense. And John Mateer is starting to get back from that hand surgery, starting back to playing the level that he was before the surgery. And I think this is a statement game for Brett Venables. Yes, they beat Michigan at the start of the year, but Michigan is not the team we thought they were going to be. This feels like a statement game for Brett Venables in Oklahoma. Give me Oklahoma to win this game at home. I think it's a great spot for them. Really do. So give me Oklahoma to win this game. So, moving on. Our next game we're talking about. We got number 15 Missouri going to number 10 Vanderbilt. Try telling yourself 2 years ago that College Game Day in 2025 is going to Vanderbilt, where number 15 Missouri will be playing number 10 Vanderbilt. I don't think any of us would have believed that this is what we were going to get. I don't think any of us would believe it. I truly believe it. Who would have called it? But we look at this game, number 10, Vanderbilt. I tell you what impressed me a lot with Vanderbilt, their win against LSU, are their tight ends. Those tight ends are sure hand receivers. And I know you guys can say, well, all tight ends like that. Yes, I would agree with that to an extent. But you look at Vanderbilt. Every time it was like 3rd and 8, 3rd and 7, they had a tight end that made a play. You just don't see that as much with nowadays with these tight ends. And then you got number 15, Missouri. Let's talk about Missouri. Missouri, they survived a slugfest against Auburn. And in the SEC, that's good enough for a win. In the SEC, a bad win is 10 times better than a good loss. And Missouri, they won in double overtime against Auburn. That's all that matters. It doesn't matter how you do it. It doesn't matter what went in. It doesn't matter if it's pretty dirty. They won the game, and that's all that matters for Missouri. I will say one aspect of this game that I'm very interested in is how many carries is Hardy, the running back from Missouri, going to get? This is what this game is going to come down to, is how many carries will Hardy get? Because can someone please explain to me why Missouri stopped giving him the ball? He had 12 carries against Alabama, and he was almost a non-factor against Auburn in a way. It just makes no sense to me. Why do we have this playmaker here, and they're just not feeding him the ball? So, we look at this game. This is at Vanderbilt. We have the model pulled up here. The line is 2.5 for Vanderbilt. We're going to take Vanderbilt to win the game here. I think Vanderbilt will win this at home. Missouri's a good football team. Do not, I just look at Vanderbilt, and they've been playing really good, and they've been playing good football. Missouri's, they've been in the gauntlet. The SEC is a gauntlet. It doesn't matter who you play. They're coming off a road game at Auburn. Were they overlooking Auburn and looking at Vandy? I can't even believe I'm saying that. But I just look at this. This feels like a great spot for Vanderbilt to pick up a win. Another win and another win closer to going to Atlanta for the SEC championship. Missouri, I mean, both programs are definitely, in my opinion, still in the mix. So this feels almost like an eliminator game in a standpoint. And yeah, I like Vanderbilt at home. I really do. I like the way they played against LSU. And I think that we're going to get a same typical game from Diego Pavia and his big tight end. So give me Vanderbilt to win this game. I'm excited for this game. That's where College Game Day is heading to. All right, let's move on here. Moving on. We have number 23, Illinois, making the trek across America to play Washington. You look at this game, Washington is kind of licking their chops right now. They're kind of in hurt mode. You look at this game as a Washington standpoint, they just got beat by Michigan 24-7. Illinois, they have 2 losses, but they're the 2 top-ranked teams in America. So, yeah, that's what I would say. You look at Washington in this game. Like I said, it is hard to go to the West Coast and win. It is really hard to go to Washington and Oregon and win. And some of you guys might be saying, if you guys have only watched college football this year, well, Indiana went and beat Oregon. Yep, you're correct. Ohio State went and beat Washington. Yes, I agree with you. It is still hard to go cross-country. What those 2 teams did were crazy. And that's why one's ranked 1 and the other one's ranked 2. And you look at this game, this feels like a Big Ten playoff eliminator game. And what I mean by that is I think whatever team loses this game is out of the mix to make it to Indianapolis. You look at number 23, Illinois. Like I said, they have 2 losses. Washington, they have 1 loss into the Big Ten. So, I mean, this is a cross road trip. Washington is a 4.5-point favorite. So, yeah. So how do I see this game going down? I'm super excited for this game. Like I said, it's in the West Coast. I think that Illinois, Lou Gottmiller is a really good quarterback. And people can say whatever they want about him, but he's a really good quarterback. And Washington, they have a really good defense. And their defense didn't show up against Michigan. I mean, that Michigan offense scored 24 points. I mean, that's crazy in my opinion. But how do I see this game going? I'm going to take Illinois to go on the road and win. I think this is a great spot for Illinois. So I think Illinois is going to win this game. I am not sure how Washington is favored. I can understand the travel aspect of it, but I think Illinois wins this game on the road. I think they definitely cover for sure. So I think Illinois is going to win this game. I think it's a game that's not talked about enough. Like, this is an underrated game in the Big Ten. So I'm excited for this game. We'll definitely be talking about it. Moving on. We have number 22, Texas, going to Mississippi State. Let's start with Texas first. You look at both these squads here, and they're both kind of licking their chops a little bit. Mississippi State, they went and got beat by Florida, and that's all. Yep, that's it. That's who Billy Napier. He went out as a winner. He went out as a winner. I know some Florida fans in the chat might be going crazy, but. You look at, and then you got Texas. I have no idea how Texas won on Saturday against Kentucky. I mean, Kentucky had to do everything wrong, and they still almost won the game. Yeah, like I said, Texas is a 6.5-point favorite, and this is going to Mississippi State. And I've been going back and forth in this game. Arch Manning just does not look what I thought he was going to. I didn't think he was going to be a world beater. And you guys can go back to my previous podcast. I never thought that he was going to be a world beater. I thought that he would be serviceable. And at this point of the year, Arch Manning's not even serviceable to a standpoint. He missed some key third down throws in Kentucky down the stretch. He had a couple of slants where he had a receiver, and he just couldn't he didn't step up and make the throw. Shout out to Colin Simmons and the Texas defense. Like, thank goodness that they're on the team, because it could have got ugly for Sarkisian on Saturday. And I don't know if he needs to go find a new quarterback to find the system, or I don't know what Texas needs to do. This is just not the Texas team that I thought it was going to be. And then you have a pesky Mississippi State team, which not a lot of people are talking about. Not sure why they're not talking about. I love this Mississippi State team. They were a field goal away from beating Florida. I mean, they threw an interception with 30 seconds to go. They pulled a Carson Beck. I call it. They pulled a Carson Beck. They missed a field goal, which I thought was good against Florida. So, how do I see this game going? This is at Mississippi State. This is a hot take. I understand it. Give me Mississippi State to win this game. And I'm going to have some Texas fans that think I am ridiculous and I know nothing about football. The way both these teams are trending right now, Mississippi State should have beat Florida, and you could say shoulda, woulda, coulda. I believe you. You definitely could say that. And this just feels like a great spot for Mississippi State to pull a win. And this is what we talked about. And, Mississippi State's going to have to win one of these games to be bowl eligible. And why not this game? Why not this game? So, I think Mississippi State wins this game outright. So, give me Mississippi State to win this game. All right. We got one more game. We got number 18, South Florida playing Memphis. What in the world happened to Memphis last week? Memphis got beat by UAB. And some of you guys watching this don't even know who UBA is. And that's okay. We will educate you. So UAB fired their head coach last week. And then I had Memphis at number 20 in my rankings. And this game just does not have the juice. I honestly believe that if Memphis would have won that game, that College Game Day would have been at this game. And, you look at this game. I've been going back and forth on this game. So, South Florida, this is a team that, got boat raced by Miami, but they did beat Florida. They did beat Boise State. Memphis, they beat Arkansas. So both these teams have beat, a Power 5 SEC team. So how do I see this game going down? I think that South Florida wins this game. I'm just going to trust South Florida. But Memphis is going to be ready for this game. This game is, I would be shocked if this goes to overtime. This just feels like one of those games where it's just going to be a slugfest. And it's just going to depend on who gets up, one time after another. So, give me South Florida to win this game. All right, moving on. Our last segment of the day. We're going to start. This is our last segment, our best bet of the week. We don't have this sponsored by anyone. If you want to be a sponsor on the show, send me an email. We've got a few. We're looking at a few. We have our bet of the day. So this is for Saturday, but this is 10/21 when the show is. So our bet of the day is BYU to cover 3.5 against Iowa State. I honestly really like BYU to win the matchup. In our model, BYU has a 52% chance to win this game. Our model, like I said, 65-24 in picks. And I honestly don't know why Iowa State's favored. I understand that they're banged up, but you look at this BYU team. BYU could probably be ranked 6 or 7. I did not mean to say that in that way. We're going to keep going. But I don't understand the hate with BYU. BYU was our bet of the week 2 weeks ago when they beat Arizona. Arizona was favored in that game, and they went and beat Utah. Utah was a 7-point favorite at the end against BYU. I don't know why the market is hating BYU, but if you're going to keep giving me BYU as an underdog, I'm going to take them. I understand this is in Ames, Iowa. And yes, Matt Campbell is a great coach, and he should be on the short list for a lot of jobs this upcoming year. But BYU, Bear's one of the best freshman quarterbacks in the nation right now. And his numbers don't show it, but look at his impactful plays. Go watch his highlights against Utah. Look at those runs. Look how timely those runs are. So my bet of this Tuesday, 10/21/2025, is BYU to cover against Iowa State. So that's our full show, guys. Appreciate everyone that's been in live. Thanks for the live chat as well on YouTube. Thanks for everyone listening on Spotify. And the clips will be posted after the video here. And yeah, guys, this is a great show. We'll be back on Thursday with our upset meter, some more best bets, and we'll take a look at a couple more predictions for the rest of the show. So with that being said, my name is Treyson Dayton. This is TD SportsPress, and we